Hello, hello, hello. Thank you all for waiting for me. Um, yeah, sorry, it was just kind of a late start. I said a while ago, and I didn't really start streaming until now. So sorry about that, guys. But we're going to get started, and let's change gears, shall we? And go straight to I think the topic of today, and that is Uncle from Another World. So, um, let me quickly just drag in our guests. Hello, welcome. Yes, sorry, I had to set up a stream, and there's one person in my on my Twitch right now who's watching. I feel really bad because they've been waiting for a while. What? I mean, just getting ready. Oh, and also, it seems like I'm talking to myself. Have you guys muted?
Oh,
Now,
you
yeah,
insane bastard.
I look because I'm just talking. Yeah, no,
You better
talk to the
you better
voices?
send me all this footage. Yeah, talk to the voices.
Talk
They
to the
warned you about the
voices.
fog.
Talk to
The
the
fog,
voices.
the fog, the fog. It
Fog,
comes.
the
It will
fog.
consume us all.
I
The fog will
mean,
come faster than this show took to air. I can tell you that much.
oh my god, this fucking show, dude. Holy shit.
Okay,
Started now, shall
this
we?
is our intro. This is how we're going into it.
Now we're going into it. 15 minutes in, so or actually 15 minutes and 30.
I'll be back.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying 15:30 because I'm writing my time codes right now. Which okay, fuck you. Fuck you for taking so long, Uncle from Another World. You were my number one
Oh
pick
my
for the fall season, beating Chainsaw Man, Spy Family, and you can go check out that video right now. It's one of my earliest videos.
It
But
started in
anyways,
summer too. It didn't even start in fall.
it started in summer, and it took so fucking long to fucking finish. It finished last week, and the fact
With a
that
single episode.
with a single episode
too.
and it's
What
a
the
single
fuck was that
episode,
bullshit?
and what's crazy to me, right? The craziest part for me is I posted just a short of with the hashtag Uncle from Another World. 300 views in less than that is the fastest I've got in terms of response for a stream. That goes to show how big of a fan base this has. I don't know. It's to me, it's crazy because we waited so goddamn long, and here we are.
Yeah. No.
But what I see here now that there's no more delays because of the virus of unknown origin, we finally have it. And the way it ended, go straight to it. Episode 13 happened, and did it live up to my expectations? No, it did not.
Yeah.
Was it? It was just kind of
also
there,
same.
and it just said there may be a season 2,
It
but
would have
didn't
been
confirm it.
been so much better had this come out the week after episode 12 aired, because this is just a straight up follow up to episode 12. And I kind of forgot most of what happened in episode 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
In, like over 2 months.
Yeah. It's been a while, and I think I don't know. To me, I think the craziest part too about all of this is
What month is this
I
actually
was
start
waiting
airing?
for something to happen, and I
yeah.
cliffhanger because I haven't read the manga or anything or light novel, whatever this is based off of. I thought it was
It
gonna
was a
be.
webcomic.
It was a webcomic.
I think so.
Okay, the webcomic. I thought that it was gonna go. The elf girl was gonna show up or something in the real world.
Like, in the
And
real
now be the big plot twist, and
Like,
that never
somehow-
happened.
The elf girl was like so down bad for this man. Found a way to make it to the real world to find him
Yeah.
after he'd been gone for so long.
Yeah, and I thought that's how it was gonna go, and they hinted at it in the opening because I was the opening. It's fucking fantastic opening. I was waiting for it, you know. I was waiting for that moment when she would like because she was in his clothes, I think, and she had like
Oh,
her hair down in the opening. It's like
Do you
holy
remember-
shit, she's gonna end up in the real world. It's just the uncle, his elf girl,
transform into her, and he used that to become a VTuber, quote unquote.
a VTuber. I mean,
Money.
well, technically real, so it would just be a e-girl.
Yeah,
E-girl.
the
Yeah.
internet doesn't know that. They all think YouTuber, actually an old
Yeah.
man doing. It's really weird, but it's a funny show.
Yeah,
This is
it's
a
fun,
good
but here's the thing:
show.
it's so funny. The only problem is just loses steam because of what
How
happens.
fucking long it took.
Yeah, so like all of my criticisms of the show really goes down to how long it took, and I don't blame anyone. I'm venting because I know it's just things happen, and yeah, I don't know. For me, this show is probably one of my favorites. That's why you're here. So let's actually transition to things we like instead of ranting about how
Real
freaking long
fast.
it took.
Okay,
So
last
Dom,
point and
start with you,
okay.
InDOMitable.
Okay, so well, actually, real fast before I talk about things I like, I want to say it started airing back in July 6th to 4th, basically. That is fucked a year to air 13 episodes. That's insane. Okay, anyways, here's what I liked about it. It was really funny. That's really what it boils down to. Because isekai is a genre where I think isekai is the most hit or miss existence. Because when it hits. But when it misses, oh dear lord, does it miss?
Oh, is it forgettable? It's like
Yeah,
burner. Yeah, put it on in the
this
background. Forget about it. Yeah, for sure.
is one of my favorite isekais because just how much fun it has with the concept. Not since Konosuba have I seen a show have this much fun with with the isekai genre.
Yeah.
It is because it's technically not even it's a reverse isekai technically because no isekais they die and go to the other world. The uncle was in a coma and he went to the other world and he came back and he can see the memories. He still has his powers. He still and he shows them the memories. They're watching it, and honestly, yeah, if I came back to the real world, like having magical powers, I'm gonna do what these people did and find a way to exploit it for money. I'm not a good person. I'm
No, no,
above
no,
that.
no. He doesn't exploit it for money. He becomes a
He was a
YouTuber.
YouTuber to it becomes a YouTuber specifically to exploit it for money. So he like old Sega
Yeah,
games and
probably
consoles.
one of the lowest career paths you can probably take, and it's probably like the most
Yeah, being a YouTuber.
yeah, like
Yeah,
imagine me being a YouTuber that talks about anime, like
I
plays
think
video
was
games. Couldn't be. Oh wait,
I think what's even funnier though is when that no longer works for him.
yeah,
What's he decide to do? Shape into the elf girl.
and you know what? He
Become-
gets views. He
he
gets
becomes a
views.
streamer. He gets the views
Because
exactly.
here's one thing that people don't realize: do never underestimate the power of lonely men online.
Yeah,
A lot, and trust me, all you need to do is just include just like a female in a thumbnail, and boom, like YouTubers
right.
have that. Why do you think all the popular YouTubers have like girls like out, in
Like
their
in their
thumbnails?
thumbnails.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it works. Lonely there, and I love how
Um.
they like commented on that too, and I also like, and I also like how they also talk about it and
Yes.
how Uncle was getting like on his channel was getting lots of hate out to be fake, even though his powers
And,
were real. They're the worst graphics ever, and he's like upset because he doesn't know how to deal with this because he's been
right.
gone.
He didn't experience internet culture. He was gone when that was becoming a thing. He hasn't been
I
around
love
since
how
the
I
90s.
love how he's retro because he's been gone for what 30 years, like 20 years,
It's
something
like
like that.
it's like 20, 30 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something crazy. Yeah,
The other thing I actually really liked when we did get to see the Isekai world as well. Because remember, we would see his memories of this. Um, and like, he just had the most miserable fucking experience for the most
I
part
mean
because he
this
was
man looked at like all of
like an orc.
humanity's crimes and it's
Yeah,
like, what if we gave this? What if I had to deal with all of this? Like the mangaka was
yeah.
like looking at author of the story, I guess, because it's a web a
Yeah.
web comic. Looked at the uncle was like, what if I give you all of the war crimes that humanity committed and give it to you character? So he deals with racism, poverty, starvation,
Yeah.
being accused of things,
He is
genocide.
he is they almost execute him multiple times because he's so ugly that he looks like an orc.
Yep.
Uh
Well, no,
and
no,
then
or he gets sold off because he's an orc.
because he looks like an orc. Yes. Um and yet he still pulls the bitches.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, there's the elf girl that we said. The students also find it funny that because tsundere wasn't a trope when he was around,
Yeah.
he doesn't know what a tsundere
So
is.
he thinks that
That's
she automatically hates him.
just hates him.
Yeah.
That's really funny. That's such a clever way to handle that trope.
Hmm.
But I like the second girl, Mabel, the ice,
Oh,
the
you
ice
mean
girl.
the neat?
Yeah, the neat, because basically he's like makes her render her job useless. So like, gotta go find an actual job now, but she doesn't want to work. She hates working. So when she finds like a comfortable job as a knight where she doesn't have to do anything, it
She has
survives
like a
from
nice security blanket right there with like a nice
yeah.
check, you know.
She doesn't want to work. It's so funny, and I gotta be honest. I think the third girl was introduced way too late. I kind of just I don't. She's like the only one I don't care about.
I think no, to me the funniest gag with her isn't with the uncle, it's with her two party members,
Or the
because she's
party
like,
members,
oh my
yes,
god, like what was it? Was it the elf girl was like, wait, don't do you think like your two party members like crushes on you? And she's like,
yes,
what, really? And she looks over and they're like, no, fuck no.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we're not, no. We definitely, it's like the Aqua situation in Konosuba where it's like,
yeah.
we cannot see you that way. Like, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
thought I was dying. I was like, that's great. I don't know. I do like the third girl though when during I think the hot spring episode
Oh yeah,
where
that was
she was
probably
like
her
hanging
best
out with him
episode.
and the elf girl got jealous and would like hear the uncle
Fucking
from like
yeah,
miles away or like snipe him.
yes, that was probably the funniest episode she was in.
Yeah. No, but for sure I think I would say it's tied between Elf and Mabel because to your point, yeah, she's pretty late.
Yeah,
But she is still pretty funny. Like as the hero, I still like the idea that she took credit for what he did.
Mm, he
That's really
just let
funny.
her have
I like
it.
the
Yeah,
fact that he also erases her memory like the
so
first
she
10
doesn't feel
times
bad.
they meet,
Yeah,
she just keeps erasing her memories. That was really good.
yeah,
um but yeah, no, I think but in wise, I like how creative it was. Because each
yes.
one of them is very different.
It's all unique, and I do love that. I
Yeah.
love the magic. I love the world. I love the fight. The action is cool. I think this this show works as an isekai, as one of the hits, and why
Hmm.
it's not like a forgettable mess. It's because we barely get to see that isekai world. So we're like the two characters, his nephew and his childhood friend,
Yeah.
who we're with, like we're with them basically. Because
Yeah.
like we want to see more. We don't have this full story that the uncle have, but we don't always get to see everything, and not everything turns out the way we want it to. So I think that helps make. I think that's a clever way to tell the story, and it makes us more invested.
Yeah. And
I
also, yeah.
I was just gonna say, I think all of my likes for this show really boiled it down to the comedy is actually really funny, the characters are really likable, and the action is awesome. And the way they tell the story is probably one of the most clever ways you can tell this kind of story. It's not
Hmm.
something you see all the time.
Hmm. Yeah. And I don't know. I like the fact that you also have the subversion of the genre too, to your point,
Hmm.
where it's not an isekai because he's in the real world. But then again, it's not also a reverse isekai because that would be more double as a part timer, where
Yeah.
fantasy characters come to the real world. It's a mixture of both, and I actually kind of like that because it's like him. It's like, and here's what I think the idea for the story came. It's like your crazy uncle that keeps telling you these stories of
All
his
the
youth
whack
or something like
stories.
that.
Yes.
And the author took that and put it into like a fantasy format. And
Hmm.
to me, the funniest thing was the hook. And that was episode 1, where the uncle's telling them about what he perceived in the world, where he's saving this sister and her two little brothers.
Right.
And then they're like happy that he saved them from the monster, and then they start freaking out because of how ugly he looks and starts crying. And the sister offers herself, and to the point where the two younger brothers sneak up behind him and
And
knock
try to
him
kill
out
him.
and throw him off a cliff to save their sister. And he thinks it's goblins that ambushed him, not like the two young brothers.
Nah. Oh my god.
That was so funny, dude.
I really did love this show. Again, all my problems really boil down to why did it take so long to air?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
I
I
know
don't entirely
why.
blame them. It's just me being like, "Ugh,
I
why
just like
universe?"
yeah, like again, I feel like if it had just not happened that way, it just all aired weekly, I'd be much more satisfied and happy by the end.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. Maybe if I just re-binge the show just all at once, I'll have a different opinion.
Yeah.
Again, it's just oh god, it took so long, so the ending just felt so much more lackluster.
Yeah. I don't know. And I'm hoping for like the thing I'm looking forward to is if they're going to announce season 2. And it doesn't look
I'm praying for
great.
season 2.
It doesn't look great because again, they took so
Long to air.
yeah, it took so
Yeah,
long to air and like you also had people fall off. Like I know a lot of people who ended up not dropping it but putting it on hold cuz again, it took so like it took months for episode 13 to drop.
right.
And so I understand why people may have stopped watching it and just completely forget about it. And it sucks because it's a really funny show. It's actually one of the funniest shows. I mean, you can't have a Seiyu, right? That's what you call voice actors, right? Seiyus?
I think so. Yeah.
Is it only for female voice actors or does it also apply to men? Do you know?
I do not. I'm not
Seiyus?
well
Okay,
versed enough.
anyways, I'll just go
I
voice actors to be
think,
safe.
yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say just go with voice it, but
Yeah.
I think it only applies to
You're
females. I could
having
be wrong though.
one of the best voice actors within the industry, which is the guy who voices Dio, and he plays a
Oh
plethora
yeah,
of
he's the
villains.
uncle.
And he's the uncle. And
He's
every
the
other
uncle.
time he's either playing a cunning character or like a sinister one. This is the
Now he just
first
gets to be
time he
goofy.
embraces a goofy character, and it's
Yeah.
so great. Like his delivery's perfect. I think he's like he's such an amazing actor. Like you can tell from any performance he's in, he'll give 110% every single
Hmm.
time. Sometimes even more. It's crazy. But yeah,
Right.
but overall, what I don't know, what do you think was like the standout for you when you realized this was like a really good show for you, Dom?
Oh fuck, you're trying to make me remember like a year ago.
I know, right?
I'm I I don't know. I remember like just the premise got me intrigued because I heard about Uncle from Another World. You know, he comes back, and it's just like that's a really interesting way to take an isekai. He didn't die; he was in a coma, and he comes back. That's a that's quite the way to take it. Which
Mhm,
since then, I found another manga where not exactly the same, but it had a comeback storyline. It became so much more. It was so boring. Like it started off fine, but that's a whole different tangent. But I think yeah, it wasn't the first episode. I don't. It might have been the Goblin thing. I could be wrong because again, you're trying to make me remember an episode I haven't seen in almost a
it's a
year.
long time. It's almost been a year.
Yeah,
It's
almost a
yeah, almost
year.
been a full year, which is crazy because episode 13 just ended last week.
But yeah, I remember like by the end of the first episode, no question, I was hooked. I was here for the ride.
Yeah, and I mean, I have to thank you too, Dom, because you're the one who ended up recommending me this show. You're like, Mitchell, there's this show about an uncle, and it's an isekai, and I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, maybe I'll give it a shot. I start watching it, and I'm like, where the fuck was this show all my life?
yeah, exactly. You're welcome.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's no, to your point. Like, I think it's just the humor in episode 1 gets me, and I love the
Mhm.
retro, like all the references, not just
Oh
to
yeah,
other
all the
anime. Who,
Evangelion.
well, like, I'm doing time codes right now too. But what I mean is um, like you have all these references to shows, but you also have references to Sega. They literally name drop Sega.
So much
You have
Sega.
references to the
Yeah.
80s, video games in the 80s, 8-bit. You have jokes about YouTube, comments, social commentary. You have lots of jokes about,
They brought up the
nostalgia and how sometimes
yeah.
nostalgia could be fake because you'll imagine you as a kid, in a
Hmm.
brighter light, and then realize like that girl
It was actually a lot worse.
you
Yeah.
were a lot worse back then.
Yeah. I like that they referenced the console wars between Nintendo and Sega.
Yeah.
Because the uncle, he'd missed the outcome where Nintendo fucking dominated Sega, and there was a whole new console war between now Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony with the PlayStation and
Mhm.
the Xbox. It's a whole different thing. It's just like, damn, he missed an entire cultural revolution of gaming.
That's so funny. And the
Yeah.
fact that he's like enamored, like he still hates like the new games, even though he's like back in the present day. He's like, I
Yeah.
still want to play my 8-bit. I just think that's really funny.
Man knows what he wants,
I
right?
like 8-bit games. I also love the fact that the opening too, which opening
Is
sequence
an
was
8-bit.
terrific.
Oh my
It's
god,
an
it's such a good
8-bit.
opening.
It's an 8-bit opening, and it's so great.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't just represent represent like 80s gaming in terms of like one particular game. It does a multitude of different games, like formats and stuff like that, and play styles. And I thought that
Right.
was really cool and inventive. Like they even had like a dance, like what was it, like a Dance Dance
Right, dance
Revolution
sequence.
type game
Yeah,
that's
they did.
in
He
8-bit.
has like a whole sequence where he's dancing like that. It's
It's
really
so good.
I love it. I love the opening. It's such a good
Yeah.
opening. Both the song and the animation. It's really good.
Yeah, and also like but yeah, like I think I don't know. To me, I think the show what where it like really excels is just being fun. And sometimes you just need a show like that that just kind of, goofs around,
Me fun. Yeah.
that kind of like takes itself less seriously.
You every now and then you just need that goofy fun show that doesn't have a stick up its ass.
Yeah. And like to me this is one of those shows. It's just like we know what a story we want to tell. It's pretty funny. The humor lands on point, at least for me. I know humor's subjective.
Yeah.
We have some horny bait here and there. There's fan service, but it's all played for laughs. I love it nonetheless. So I don't know. In terms of like a verdict, where would you rank this? Like out of 10.
Um it despite like the length it took to finish this is still pretty high up for me. I would say like a 9 or an 8.
A 9 or an 8.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
say it because
really funny, great
yeah,
characters, love just everything like, I think the timing with the release is what kind of killed it a little bit for me because there would be points where I like it's been fucking months and I wouldn't remember what was going on or certain character stuff. So that again, that's not a fault to the show. That's just a fault to when it was released. But it did kind of hinder my enjoyment while watching just a
mhm,
little.
mhm, yeah. I don't know. For me personally, I think it's well, I already said it was a 9 out of 10, and I still think it is.
Yeah,
Because again, to me, I was like, is it better than a lot of these other shows that are gonna be 8 out of 10?
right.
And I wanted to rate it an 8 out of 10, but thinking back on it, it's just because again, it's we had to
Yeah,
wait so long.
yeah.
So taking that into consideration, I'm like, yeah, it's a 9 out of 10. It's so funny.
I I think on Mal I did put it as a 9. Yeah, I
Like
did.
it just does
Okay.
so it
So
doesn't do
it's a
anything
9.
wrong. That's my problem.
No,
Like it's
it
literally
doesn't.
just the release order. That's it. And if that's it, then I'm just gonna dock it a point and call it a day, you know?
Yeah, honest, it really is nothing wrong. I can't it's so good. It's so funny. The characters, the actions, the story, the music, the pacing when the show was actually airing is good, but like when the at the time the episodes were coming out, it fucked up the pacing.
Yeah. So yeah. So anyways, I think yeah, definitely check it. If you haven't checked it out, I mean, we kind of spoiled some of the parts, but
Yeah,
there's so
check
much
it
in this
out.
show. Definitely check it out. It is probably one of the funniest shows I have seen, anime wise. One of the funniest. It's up there with Konosuba in terms of humor. Like I
Yeah.
think most people will I think, laugh more at this show than Konosuba because
Oh,
although Konosuba
probably.
is
Yeah.
funny, it has a particular brand of comedy that I think isn't for everyone. This one
Mhm.
is more in line with everyone. Would
Yeah,
you
I can
agree?
agree with that.
Yeah,
I would agree with that. Yeah, this is definitely more I would say mainlined with
mainline.
its
Yeah,
comedy, but its comedy is still really funny.
yeah.
Um, my final thought on this is that Netflix finished releasing all the goddamn episodes. I want to actually support this show, and I had to go watch it illegally to finish this. They have not uploaded an episode since episode 7. So get your shit together, Netflix.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, just I don't know. I still find it funny, like the predicament where, well, why'd you pirate it? It's not because I didn't want to pay for a service. It's
It's because I
I
had no
couldn't
other
find it
choice.
anywhere else.
Yeah,
It's
I
crazy.
pirated because I had no other choice. Otherwise, I would not have.
Yeah.
I,
So I think we're that did we
yeah,
finish? Is that everything we want
I
to talk
would say
about?
so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I
we
don't know
talked
anything
about
else.
everything. So thanks for watching. Um hopefully you guys don't disagree with me too much. But yeah, we think the show's pretty good, so definitely check it out.
Yeah,
If you disagree,
absolute
let us
banger
know.
show.
Did you think the show was cringe, or did you think it was like the funniest thing ever? Like us, please let us know because we'd love that. Also, go subscribe to InDOMitable. He's really cool. He helped me with this video, so go show him some love and support. Um, I will post like his thing is channel's right here,
Mhm.
so go click on this. But anyways, um, my name is Sayurius. Thank you, InDOMitable, for doing this collab with me. I really appreciate it and having me on. It's great.
Yeah. Uh, Thank you for setting this up. I really do love talking about this show.
Yes, and we'll do more videos to come. Which, by the way, Dom, while I still have you, do you want to do a Justice League video next week,
Yeah,
like
I
the
can do a
show?
Justice League video. Yeah,
Hell yeah! So
the animated series one.
yeah,
Yeah.
look forward to that. So peace.